Started here. Let me share screen. So, welcome, and we are the Xi Pi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa, International Honor Society. In case you don't know about our organization, we're a 100 and almost 103-year-old honor society. We've been the official honor society for two-year schools in the United States since probably at least the 1940s, I think, 1935, 1940. We have, give or take, around 1,285 chapters internationally. We're found in, I think the last check was like 12 or 14 different countries, although we are predominantly in the United States. As you have already heard, Tori and Celeste are two of our 8 officers, although we have one position that is empty right now. And I guess we'll start with a video since I just figured out how to make sound through Zoom, which is awesome. If I can remember where the video is. I think it's here. Full screen. Share sound. It's so cool.
I really enjoyed the research aspect of Honors in Action. Compiling it all in the end into the final project was a really rewarding experience. The skills I needed for that really translated into all of the classes that I take and the work that I do.
At PTK's annual convention, I met a college recruiter. I told her my story and she asked if I had ever considered Yale. I created an account on PTK Connect and started looking into my transfer options. Believe it or not, I actually got an email from Yale. I didn't even have to reach out to them. They found me through PTK Connect.
I'm transferring to a 4-year and Transfer Edge was really helpful. One of the most helpful sections was making my transfer application more competitive. That's something you just don't learn in college, but you really need to know.
I started working my way through PTK Edge courses and I'm using the various skills that I have learned in my everyday life. Competitive Edge has had the greatest impact on me.
Leaving high school was so hard because of my friends and my classes, but once I was able to join PTK, I found the community and friends and a feeling of belonging.
I was born in a very poor and remote part of Kenya. I was able to be introduced to Phi Theta Kappa, and the chapter actually has become my family here in America. It's like a home away from home.
When I turned 30, I wasn't sure I could even do college. I didn't have a lot of confidence. I was invited to join Phi Theta Kappa. Eventually, I was chapter president.
I became a chapter officer. That second year in Phi Theta Kappa is really when I think I transitioned into a strong leader and I made the most character growth.
I started at a community college.
I joined Phi Theta Kappa.
And now my future is bright and my next steps are clear.
I am who I am today because of the opportunities that my college and this honor society gave me.
So glad that sound worked. So some of the things that you'll get joining us, and this is some of the basic stuff, and we'll get to the better stuff like development and scholarships and stuff in a second. You'll get a Golden Key membership pin, which when we ever get back to face-to-face classes, which is slated loosely for the fall, like I typically wear mine every time I teach. You'll get a membership certificate and an ID card. I think I still have my ID card when I was a member a long time ago at the Valencia East chapter. And you'll get a diploma seal, although it'll come much like your diploma several weeks after graduation, since you don't actually get your diploma at graduation. And then you'll get a notation on your college transcript to say who you are. And as you heard in the video, that actually is true. And I'll talk about that more at PTK Connect when I talk about that. But college, because we're a 103-year-old organization, and we've become very, very well established in the, especially United States collegiate system. So every college and university really knows who we are, and they know what they're going to get if they recruit a Phi Theta Kappan. So having that membership notation on your college transcript is kind of like a beacon, just kind of saying, here's what you're going to get with me. You're going to get a high GPA, leadership experience, and so on. You'll also have a chance to wear the regalia at graduation. And as I put in the invitation email, don't purchase it if you're going to join. You'll get offered 10% off up front, but don't purchase it immediately. You can either earn it by being a very active member in our chapter, or if you're going to purchase it later, you can get, they offer 25 or 30% off about every other month, so you can get a much bigger discount. You'll get National Dean's List recommendation, but then the highlighted most important one, a letter of recommendation from me, and there's an asterisk there. So the reason the asterisk is there, I have to know who you are in order to write a good letter of recommendation. We get a lot of members who join and they don't really participate. They just kind of, do it for adding to their academic resume and stuff. And that's fine. And you can do that. But it's hard for me to write a letter of recommendation about someone I don't know. Whereas someone that I do know, I can write a very thorough letter of recommendation. And so, for many people, I've written 2- and 3-page letters of rec without a problem. So the more you participate, the more I have to write about, and the better the letter gets. Now, as far as scholarships goes, there is over 50 million in scholarships just for us, just for Phi Theta Kappans. That's not eligible. Those are not eligible for anyone else outside the organization. And we have scholarships at pretty much every major college or university. Harvard has one, Yale has one, Cornell, Penn State, and so on. Pretty much everyone has one, except for the University of Florida. They are apparently more special than Harvard and Yale and Columbia. And some of those scholarships, there's a variety of them. Here's a list of some of them. Now, what does that actually mean in sort of practical terms? Let's see. Go away, Neville. I don't want to see you anymore. There we go. Okay. So when you become a member, if you go to members and you scroll right down, you'll see scholarships here. Now, because this is the spring term, we have associate degree scholarships, and notice they're all closed. Now, those will be open shortly. We will have what's called the Spring Common Application, where you can apply for multiple scholarships all at once. And those are for remaining at your 2-year school. But if you need financial assistance to finish your second year at your 2-year school, most people want the bachelor's degree scholarships, which you have a lot more of, and they're not all listed here. There is 1 or 2 others that we list separately, usually on our across social media, our Facebook page, Instagram, and on Canvas. And again, there's a fall common application where you apply for a bunch of scholarships all at once. Now, those applications are very long, they're very tedious. I had a past president who said she had worked on her application for an hour a night for 2 weeks in order to finish it, that they're that complete, if you want to apply for every one of the scholarships. And there are a fair amount of them. And then we have other scholarships. On top of that, I don't know if this is where the NCLEX one is. Yep, the NCLEX scholarship. So 25 scholarships of $250 each to cover the cost of your NCLEX fee. But so you can, there's little scholarships for those, and then there's all these in through here. Fulbright is an entire program. It's not necessarily something through Phi Theta Kappa, but there's that. So there's Jack Kent Cooke Foundation right there. And so we have lots of scholarships available, but again, a lot of that depends on member activity level, at least to some extent. Now, what I was going to talk about on the next slide, but I'll do that in a second, just because I have to hop back and forth, kind of like Big Blue Button, is PTK Connect. So it's a free service. There's a little video to kind of walk you through it. And we usually do specialized workshops for our members. And one of them we can do is on scholarships and on PTK Connect. And we'll definitely do one in the spring term. It allows you to connect with colleges, so you can do a transfer search for choosing your favorite college. So one thing that a lot of students do is they just pick whatever college is near them. You know, we're in Polk County. A lot of people go to UCF or go to USF. If you don't have a problem with going out of state, there are a lot of schools that offer Phi Theta Kappans a whole lot of money. So for example, like Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, they waive, for any Phi Theta Kappa member from anywhere in the world, they waive their out-of-state tuition fee. Plus they give, I think it's $1,000 or $2,000. So basically you get in-state tuition plus about 40% of that tuition covered just by being a member. So of course it helps that it's in Jackson, Mississippi, and that's where our international headquarters is actually in Jackson, Mississippi. Mississippi State does the same thing. But there's lots of scholarships that will offer you lots of financial aid. And when you do these college searches, Phi Theta Kappa has a lot of relationships with pretty much every major school in the United States. And so since they have these relationships, the colleges are allowed to kind of search through the applicants in PTK Connect. So if you're interested in a certain school and they look for you, they may contact you, much like they did like Yale did to the girl in the video. That's not unusual. PTK Connect used to be called College Fish, which was a marketing ploy and it didn't work well, so they changed it to PTK Connect. But the principle's the same, that these colleges go fishing for potential members to join their ranks, and they'll throw money at you. When you do these searches, you also have other scholarships that you can search out. And if you don't know what you want to do with your career, but you know you have a certain area of interest, there is also a career pathways option that you can look at. So that was the next slide, was PTK Connect. If you're a writer, we have a couple writing opportunities. And we'll have a workshop where we go through these in a little more depth later on, but we have the Nota Bene Honors Anthology and the USA Today Case Study Challenge. If you get published in either one, it does count as a professional publication, so you can add it to your resume. And then we have our Phi Theta Kappa partners. These are some of the present and past partners. And you can find those, again, on ptk.org. If you go up to go to members, and then you just scroll right here, you see special offers and discounts, and they rotate. Oh, apparently I'm logged out. They rotate out their partners. And so currently we have these partners here. Geico is one of our biggest ones. So if you already have Geico insurance, bonus, Geico sponsors us for $2 to $3 million a year in scholarships alone, out of those 50 million in scholarships. Whenever we have our international convention, the CEO of Geico or the VP of marketing is usually there. They usually have, they'll usually save you, give or take, around 20 to 30% off whatever your insurance is right now, including if you already have Geico. Now you either have to go to their website, you can go visit your local office, or you can call the 800 number, but you have to notify them that you're a member, and they'll look up the code, the discount code, and apply it to your insurance. And of course, if you transfer your insurance from one provider to another, like if you have, say, AAA or State Farm or something, and you move to Geico, they may give you an additional discount for moving over. But Dell has a discount with us, National Enterprise, Hearst does as well. So nursing students can save 50 on the Hearst review for the NCLEX. And of course, that Hearst also sponsors the NCLEX scholarship. And then Lenovo computers. You can't just go to, say, Lenovo's website. You have to go through the link to their specific Phi Theta Kappa website. but they do offer sizable discounts at any regular old time. Usually it's somewhere between 15-ish and 18% off. So scholarship first. You're here because you're smart, basically. 3.3 GPA, 12 hours completed. You maintain a 3.0. And we don't require any level of participation. You could join us and not do a thing if you wish, and just use it to pad your resume, or you could become Mr. or Miss Phi Theta Kappa, which we have that too. We have members and officers who make the organization their lives. We always relate it to getting into Phi Theta Kappa as kind of like a gym membership. You pay the monthly fee for the gym membership. The gym doesn't tell you how much you can come. Most people pay the fee and never end up going. Some people pay the fee and go 2 or 3 times a week. And then you have some people who go 6, 7 days a week and they live at the gym. That's how we are. We do feel that the more you participate, the more you'll get out of it. I don't know if Celeste or Tori, if you guys want to tell them about some of your experiences, like what made you join Phi Theta Kappa?
I can go first. I was drawn to the scholarships opportunities. That's one of the big things about Phi Theta Kappa. But also, when I was in high school, I was in my National Honor Society when it first started, but we barely got to do anything because it was just new and coming up. So when I came to Polk State and heard they had this, I was very interested, and just kind of like growing my skill set and taking different positions and trying to get involved on campus.
Well, so my reasons for joining Phi Theta Kappa were because when I was in high school, I had already done a lot of what do you call it, organizations. I had already participated in several organizations, and so I already knew what I could get out of it. That I would be able to develop my personal skills, my confidence, and a lot of other things. I was actually encouraged by one of my teachers, and so I figured, well, you know what, Phi Theta Kappa basically can do that to me as well. And it was a lot bigger of an organization. I thought, well, you know what, it's a win-win. And not to mention the scholarships, are a lot helpful, especially when you pay your own classes, which is what I do. And so it was just my way of trying to develop myself, and I guess you could say part of my resume.
Cool. And what made you guys want to become officers?
I was drawn to the officer position after I first joined. I kind of spent some time with some of the officers doing, going to various events, and they were telling me about different positions, what you do. And then also, like I said, my major is health information management. So I was interested in kind of learning leadership opportunities, how to become an effective leader, and trying to prepare myself for my career too.
I had actually some of those reasons as well. I wanted to develop my own skills so that I can be better off in my career, especially because I'm gonna have to work with people, and eventually I would like to own my own business, and I need a lot of confidence for that. And when I started, I didn't really have very much confidence. I didn't really know anybody in the organization, so I started out fresh, brand new, didn't know anybody. But once I got to know people, it felt very comfortable. And so I was like, you know what? Somebody told me, hey, you know what? I think you'd be really good for an officer. I was very active. And so I basically just took a leap of faith and said, you know what? It can only get better from here. And it sure enough has. I've actually developed a lot of confidence. Before I even started this, I had a lot of anxiety. And I've actually gotten way over it. As you can tell, I'm actually talking to you guys. And so it's just a place for me to develop, and it's basically done just that.
And going off of what Celeste said, when I had first joined and I was just, a member, I was coming to different events, trying to figure out, is there something I want to really get involved in? I really noticed how it was such like a family-like atmosphere. It's not like super uptight or anything like that. All the members and officers were having fun. They're having fellowship events, and that's what really kind of brought me in, because at Polk State, it's easy to come, do your class, and get out, and that's it. But with them, they're able to have fun and also affect, grow your personal skill set and become, a better person throughout your college career.
Thinking back to when you guys both first started as members, what advice would you give like a brand new member for like how to get started in the organization?
My advice would be, don't be afraid. It's awkward when, it kind of feels awkward when you're starting out and you don't know anybody. And that's exactly what my case was. I didn't know anybody, but I knew I wanted something in this. I wanted a part of it, and I was going to do it. And so my motivation was just the outcome of what I could become. And if that's something you're interested in, then by all means, it only takes just one foot in the door, and you're already in. Once you get to know people, and the first meetings that we usually have, we're very open, we're very talkative. We're not, going to be like strangers. Oh, I don't know you, I'm not going to talk to you. We're not like that at all. We will try to engage with you and make you feel like you're part of us, because once you join, you basically are part of us. And so, don't become discouraged. It's like I said, once you're in, you're in.
My advice is definitely to get involved. I know it's a lot with school, and some of you probably have work and stuff like that, but kind of what you get out of it depends on what you put into it. So like Professor Cornett was talking about all the benefits of that. In order to get a lot of that benefits, you got to get involved. And we will have a lot of opportunities for you to do so, even online from the comfort of your PJs. Like we were talking about a movie night before we started here. So I definitely say try and be involved as much as you can.
Cool. So to give you guys some background on like what do we do now, this is pretty standard whether we're face-to-face or online. We try and have meetings about every 2 weeks, or at least an activity. We had a bit of a lull during what we call awards writing season, and the officers are usually very busy writing awards for our chapter for the different activities and for the awards contest for different activities and projects we do through December and January. But we're getting back into the swing of it, and we have events now scheduled starting next week, at least one event each week for the next 4 weeks. So we're pretty active, even right now during COVID. We have regional meetings. We have our Florida region meeting, our big meeting in about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. Now, when I say the Florida region, not every state has a region. The Florida region is about 86 chapters in size. We're the third largest region behind Texas and California, both in number of chapters and in the size of the chapters, how many people are in the region. But then we also have, you have a lot of states that are very small or get combined, small physically or small with population. So like North and South Dakota are combined with Minnesota to form the Minnesota region. Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts are all combined together to form the New England region. Those states don't have a whole lot of community colleges. I think all those states combined have about 30 chapters, whereas Florida has 86. So we also have a honors workshop with all the Florida region in July, usually, which will probably be online this summer. And then we have a leadership workshop in usually early October, which hopefully will be back to face-to-face, so we can travel. We travel usually when we do these. So I think they're still planning on having leadership at St. Leo in October, because that's who we were supposed to have leadership with this past October, but we couldn't because of COVID. Then we also have an international convention where we travel outside of the Florida region, usually, although Internationals likes to have it in Orlando, mostly because our headquarters staff likes to go to Disney. But I think the next scheduled one, our last one was supposed to be in outside of Dallas, Texas. And then the one that was supposed to be this April, which is going to be 100% online, was supposed to be in Baltimore. And then I think the next year usually internationals is in early to mid April. So of 2022, unless they give a second chance at Baltimore, because we weren't able to have it there because we had to cancel. I think it's supposed to be in Boulder, Colorado. So that would be a nice one. Travel to any event is typically based on activity level. So the more active you are as a member, the more I'm going to take you to events as long as we have money. And so like being an officer doesn't necessarily guarantee you the ability to travel. I mean, yes, it kind of gives you a heads up because you're volunteering to be an officer. And officers typically put in more time than a member does. They're leading our chapter. They're leading our group. And so, but I've had members who don't want to necessarily commit to being an officer, but yet they still do more work than the officers do. And so like those members would get, if I have an officer who's doing the same amount of work as a regular member and the officer's supposed to be doing more work, then I'm taking the member over the officer. And so travel is based on activity level, but being an officer is definitely encouraged. We have 8 total positions, and we are almost always a regional chapter officer team. So the way our Florida region does it is that there is 8 or 9, I can't remember, officer positions in the region, and the whole chapter runs something. So like this year, we're the awards chapter. So we're in charge of organizing the region awards and getting the awards purchased and brought to the regional meeting, or in this case, because the meeting's online, mailing them off. For a couple years in a row, we were the region's leadership chapter. And we designate one of our officer team, usually the president, but not always, to be the officer representative from our chapter. And that does involve travel at least once, sometimes more, during the year. It's not usually fancy travel, like we usually go to Valencia West for a meeting, since Valencia is central in the entire state. But sometimes we end up traveling further than that. And then we have a couple international officer positions. A lot of the people in that video were international officers at one point or another. So like Neville, the guy from Kenya, he was an international officer. He was the vice president of Division 2, which is where we are, Florida to Texas, and then all the way up to Tennessee is Division 2. Like I said, there's the eligibility, but of course you meet all this or you wouldn't have gotten the invitation. There's my contact information if you need to contact me. And to join, you go to ptk.org to the main website and you click the join button. Just show everyone. So if we go to the main site, then you have the Join Now button in the upper left. You click that and it takes you here and you insert the passcode from your invitation. And then it walks you through a series of steps. Filling in just your major, when you expect to graduate, what email do you prefer? It'll make you the offer to buy the regalia, which I would recommend not doing at the time. You can get a bigger discount later. And then you pay at the end. We are a not-for-profit organization, so the money all goes to either our headquarters, the Florida region, or our chapter to help run our events and run our chapter. Now we will have a induction ceremony at some point this term. It's been kind of difficult to have the induction ceremony with COVID-19. we're going to probably have an outdoor ceremony here because we haven't had one for almost a year because of the pandemic. Now, you don't have to wait until the ceremony to begin participating. The ceremony is basically the formal event where you bring friends and family to watch you be inducted. Basically, once you pay, you're a member of our organization. And so you can begin participating immediately. We have lots of different social media. We will typically run through a couple. We will run through, let's see, get rid of this, get rid of that. So we can go through Facebook. Facebook used to be our main mode of communication and operation because it lets us have a wall to add events. It lets us have an events tab where people can say, I'm going, or a maybe, or I'm not going to go. That was especially very handy when we would do things like potlucks. So that way, if we have a potluck, everyone can put in the wall for the event what they're bringing. So we can, avoid having like 12, 14, varieties of chips and dip. The wall is also useful not only for general announcements, but we'll post scholarships or internships on the wall. It lets us do polls. So we should have a poll coming up today, hopefully, for what days of the week are best for events for our members so that we can kind of work our events around your schedules. And then we'll follow that up with a what time is best poll so that we can try and have accommodate as many members as possible. We also have Instagram, which remember, they're the same owner. Facebook and Instagram, or Instagram is owned by Facebook. But we do have our Instagram, which is regularly updated. You can see we had our member meeting announcement popped up. It's going to be on our next member meeting is on February 12th. And then we also have a Canvas page, which is more typically where we operate. So lately, at least. So in our Canvas page, it won't look exactly like this for you because it's on my view, as one of the people running the page. We'll have announcements where you can see that here's like our announcements for our next meeting with the days and times poll. Facebook actually Canvas used to have a polling option, and they removed the polling option actually this month, past month in January. So we can't do polls through Canvas anymore. In the modules section, you can find meeting agendas, past member meetings that have been recorded. And these are other events that we had that were recorded in our leadership seminar series here. And the recordings are typically done through conferences, and our meetings are as well. So we have a lot of events and activities done through Canvas Conference, and you can see how many we have here. This is still in the fall term. We're just getting into the summer term here. So even though we obviously are in the middle of an international pandemic, our organization's still pretty active, and we will remain so. Let's see. So I guess this comes to the question and answer portion of do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask me or some of the officers that are here? Hi, Isabel. I think you're muted. You just have to.
I thought I had a question to ask, but then I forgot it, so I quickly muted myself back. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of a question I had, but I think I'm good.
Oh, I just want to let you know too. I think Leanne already has the pull up on Facebook and Instagram, but it's through a Google poll, so you have to click the link to get to it.
Oh, I do have a question. If we do not have a Facebook page or a Facebook account, are there other options? I have an Instagram, and if I have to, I can make a Facebook account for myself. I just wondered if that's like paramount to participating in the club or anything like that.
No, go ahead, Tori.
Oh, I was gonna say, the same notifications that we put on Facebook is also going to be on the Instagram page and as well on Canvas. So you don't have to create a Facebook page if you don't want to. You can still communicate with us through those options. And I
Okay.
think in a Twitter too, I think Twitter.
Okay.
So yeah, here's the latest announcements for the meeting. So I didn't see that she had done it through a Google form. So this is on Canvas, and this would have, because it's on Canvas, when that makes an announcement, like whenever you join, I get your my.polk.edu email and your
Okay.
personal email. So whatever one you prefer, you just let me know. But I need the my.polk.edu, and then I automatically add you to the Canvas page. And the next time you log into Canvas, you'll see a notification at the top, and it'll say, you've been invited to join this Canvas shell, and it'll be ours.
Okay.
And then because it's in Canvas, when we do the announcements like this, it automatically will, not only can you just go in and look at the announcements, but it'll automatically generate an email every time
Okay.
a new announcement is made. So then if you're checking your my.polk.edu email, you'll get this announcement in your email. And then you click on that and it goes to the Google form. God, Leanne is so good. Your email address, first and last, dates and approximate dates and times. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, or like, people have work schedules that vary. So you just put check marks in for whenever you're potentially available and submit. So that'll give us an idea of when we should make events to accommodate our members.
Okay.
Facebook's not a necessity. The only time we use that Facebook is a necessity is for the officer team.
Okay.
Because when we have officers, like we used to do just through texting back and forth. But it's kind of a pain in the butt because, you have to sit there and text out your thoughts. Plus, people aren't usually responding in real time.
Right.
So, it's harder to send files through your phone. So we'll do Facebook Messenger for the officers, because then we're messaging in real time to each other. So it's the equivalent of talking to each other. And if we have to send a file, especially like when we were doing like essay writing time, or like when Leanne's trying to develop an advertisement for an event, it lets us send files instantaneously rather than having to, from any device. We don't have to log into our computer or something like that necessarily. But no, Facebook's not a necessity anymore, really. Usually we can solve it through links. So like if we want to advertise, let's say like the Fall Common Scholarship application, we could run it through Instagram or through Canvas with a link to take you straight to the main page, to ptk.org, and to that application. So, until basically that wasn't really an option for us until effectively last year. Canvas wasn't as user friendly. It had to become more user friendly because of the pandemic. And so now, even after the pandemic's over, quote unquote, whatever that actually means, we'll still probably do a lot of events online just for the convenience of we for some events at least, that we can record them, or we could involve members maybe who can't make it to Canvas or to the campus.
Okay.
But no, you'll get in the Canvas page without a problem. I can do that, and then if you have Instagram, even better.
Okay. I also wanted to let you know that I sent you an email asking you if I could find the Zoom recording afterwards anywhere. I had thought that I had missed the meeting, but then I realized I should actually try and log into the meeting. So I was late. I apologize. I just had forgotten.
It's okay. I did record it. We're recording now.
Okay.
I'll probably end up posting it to our chapter's YouTube page,
Okay.
which is unfortunately very barren, but it's an easy way for us to upload a large file. Like this is going to end up being a 45, maybe an hour long file size. So I'll probably post it to our YouTube page, and then I can send you the link via email, So that way you can catch up on if you miss. Because when I'm on full screen and I'm sharing screen, I can't see who's in the meeting and who isn't.
Okay.
So that way you can catch up on anything you missed.
All right. Good. So all I need to do is put in the password, put in my information, and pay the membership fee, and then I'll be into the society.
Yes.
Okay.
And don't purchase your graduation regalia for 10% off.
Okay.
We get better discounts, or you can earn it for free by being an active member. So.
All right. Cool. And then how did you say that I could give you my email, or do you have my email?
I'll have your Polk email, and I'll have your whatever email you gave the college if you gave them a personal one.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'll tend to send a pretty just sort of typical welcome email with links to Instagram and Facebook for those who are interested, and our 5-star membership form. So like how to measure how active you are as a member and how to earn free stuff, free parts of your regalia and things.
Okay.
And then I usually will also tack onto there that I have 2 email addresses for you and just ask you to let me know which one you prefer.
Okay.
And I'll make that your primary contact email in our Excel spreadsheet.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions about anything? Who we are? Do you want to ask the officers a question, me a question? Feel free. Okay, Tori, Celeste, is there anything you would like to say to kind of wrap it up?
It was nice meeting all of you guys, and I hope to see you guys at events, whether online or in person.
Yes, I agree the same thing. Honestly, I hope to see you guys, and hopefully we will see you guys at the meetings or face to face, whatever it is. I can guarantee you, if you become an active member or not an active officer, whatever it is, you're not going to regret it.
And feel free to follow us on socials. If you have a question, you can ask us. I can put my Instagram in the chat. Totally follow me.
Awesome. So I guess that concludes the orientation for today. And thanks everyone for coming. And if you have any questions, reach out to Tori or Celeste or myself. My email's in the invitation email. And if you join, like I said, I'll end up adding you to the Canvas page. And we have a member meeting coming up in 8 days on the 12th, a week from tomorrow. And there's Tori's Instagram. If you want to follow her, you can always message her. But otherwise, thanks for coming. And hopefully we'll see you in the chapter and at events soon.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. This was great.
Bye.
Hi, thanks for coming.
Bye.